We'll start on top of Lamed Vav, 36A on the top line. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. That's what's about learning Hashem, basic English immediately. Immediately, yeah. Right. Okay, let's go.
Read it, if not soon.
There. So, as we get closer to the end here, I believe it's around Chav Zayin. We finish around Chav Zayin here, the Masechta. And Rosh Chodesh Sivan is 5 years. The Daf usually do something, make a Fabrengen or something on Rosh Chodesh.
Daf Yomi Warriors, my mother's.
Oh, really?
Maybe I can.
This will be a week after that. We'll do something. That's just Hashem. Okay, we'll combine the two, I guess. Okay, so here, let's see. It starts on the top. Bayurei, come and see. Come and Nisim Nasa Baisayim. We're talking about the day the Jewish people passed over the Yarden. How many miracles happened on that day? First of all, Avri Yisrael as the Yarden. They got through the Yarden. They passed over the Yarden, the Jordan. That was a miracle. The waters it didn't split, but it stopped, and then it like traveled upwards. They traveled to Har Grisim and Har Evel, which is more than 60 mil, which is quite a trip. And there was no creature that could stand in front of them. In other words, they were so powerful. Anyone that stood in front of them would immediately lose their bowels out of fright. It says in the pasuk, my fear I will send before you. The hamaisi. Hamaisi doesn't mean die. Hamaisi means to confuse. Mahuma is like confusion or tumult. And I will confuse all the people that you will come to there. You will make them afraid. Another pasuk says, it will fall on them fear and dread until they pass over the nation of the nation of God. Then it repeats it again, Adyavar Amzu Kanisa, right? So we say it every day. So this is referring to Zubia Rishaina. Adyavar Amzu Kanisa is referring to Bia Shnia. Okay, that's what happened over here is saying that in the song that they sang when they crossed the sea. So it describes the miracles that they had when they passed, going back to the song that they sang by Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the sea. It describes what's going to happen when the Jordan splits. That's 40 years later. Yeah, that which is people Alei Masbafachad Adi Avram Hashem when they cross over into the land of Israel 40 years later. And then it says Adi Avram Zukanisa, that's referring to when they come back to the land in the days of Ezra, which is 800 and something years later. Is that 800 and something years? It's about it's 480 years until they build the base of English. Then there's another it's 440 because it's 440 plus another 410 for the time of the base of Mikdash, which is 800 and something, 850. I think it's 852. Visnachaltem. No, there's a Rashi. That's a Visnachaltem is a gematria.
But I'm saying 440 and 410 is 850. Counting.
I think it was 852. Okay. Emmer Me'ata, but we see from this, say from now, Ru'yan HaYisrael Aslam Nes B'Bir Shnei K'Bir Rishayna. They were deserving. It was meant to be that they would come back in a miraculous form when they came back in the days of Ezra, just like they had miracles when they came into the land first time. With the miracles, well, first of all, they got out of Egypt, and then the splitting of the sea, and all of that. We would have had something like that coming back from the Babylonian exile. However, Ela Shagar Machet, because of sin, that didn't happen. What happened instead? We had to wait for permission from Koresh or Dayavish to be able to come back. It wasn't that we just like got out of there, breaking free with miracles. Now we go back to discuss what else happened on this day. They brought stones, from inside the Jordan. They took the stones out. They built an altar. They plastered it. It's called the This is following one opinion. It sounds like they're writing it on the plaster, which was only one of the opinions from yesterday. And they wrote on it all the Torah in 70 languages. Shnemer Ber Heitev. It says Ber Heitev, which means explained very well, which means in all 70 languages.
You just said then you built an altar. This one's an altar. It's monuments with the Torah. No?
I think it started off as an altar.
Really?
Then they stood it up. Yeah.
This immediately after they crossed the Jordan?
Yeah. So far, it sounds like it's on the same day. But I
didn't know it was
translated. We said is 70 languages. According to
I thought it was first translated to Greek.
no, there was a time when it was translated to Greek, but Moshe had already translated it earlier into 70 languages. There's a theory from Abulafia, who's a great Kabbalist. He said that Hebrew is the source of all the 70 languages. But when it unfolds, when you translate a word, Hebrew has the ability to be translated into 70 languages. When you get all 70 languages, then you have the full meaning of the word. Because every language has a little bit of a nuance to be able to get. It's like as it unfolds into the different languages, that's when you get like the real full meaning of what that word's supposed to be.
So translation
Okay.
is like commentary. Yes, you have to add some words that
Right.
there's no exact word for translation.
Right.
You said that what you quoted?
Abraham Abulafia.
Wouldn't things also get off because in Hebrew we have words that
Yeah.
we just don't.
What happens is when you have a word in Hebrew, so it has more meanings than it would have in just one language. When you get all 70 languages, then you can get the full meaning of the Hebrew word. That's the okay.
I wouldn't know. I don't know. Yeah, so you have to know 70 or Hebrew. Yeah. Let's stick with these.
Okay. The Hello Eilis Islamim, they brought sacrifices, burnt offerings, peace offerings, v'achlu, v'shasu, smecho. They ate, they drank, and they were glad. Uvarchu, v'kilalu. They did the blessings and the curses.
Excuse me. Do you see this Goraye? Is that in yours?
I don't have it.
It says that if you take the word hated and you just take the gematria of each hey, and then hey and yud, hey, in other words, you go 5, and then 15, and then 24. You
They
kind of
come
add
to
each letter,
70.
and then 26. Then when you add those individuals, it comes to 70.
Uh-huh.
So hey alone, then hey yud alone, hey
Pencil.
yud days, and then hey
Pass me a
yud
pencil.
hey yud test, and then hey yud test days.
So you're talking
5 and
about
15 and 24 and 26.
What's the pasuk or what's the source?
24.
Or
20.
in Dvarim.
Is it the Gur Aryeh, the Maral, according to Dr. Stein.
No, according to the Goryeh.
And
What's the word that it's based on?
Be'er Heitev. So he says, you do 5 plus Hey and Yud, which it becomes 15. 5 plus 15 plus 24 Hey Yud Tes plus 26 Hey Yud Tes Beis. You'll end up with 5 and 5 is 10. That's a 0.
What about the Reish?
No, not Be'er, just Heitev.
Oh, just Heitev.
You have 1, that's 4, 5, 6. 5 and 5. Oh, because it's supposed to be a 2. Carry a 2. So it becomes 70. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Do you follow that? Okay. Take the word Heitev.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do the gematria of it. Do the gematria of each letter. So the gematria of Hey is 5. Then you do the gematria of Hey and Yud, which is 15. And then you do the gematria of Hey Yud Tes, which is 24. Then you do the gematria of Hey Yud Tes Beis, which is 26. And you add all of that together, it's 70.
But it's a mishmash.
The 70 languages.
It's a mishmash. Hey and hey is fine, but Yud is Yud Vav Daled.
No, not the in the gematria.
No, not the name of the letter. You're doing just the letter Hey is 5.
All right, never mind.
And then you do Hey and Yud for the word Heitev, which is 15. Yeah. Yeah, but we're looking for 70. Okay. Baruch v'killu. They gave the blessings and the curses on that day, according to this Gemara. And then they wrapped up the stones. Ubo v'lanu b'Gilgal, and they went and they slept that night in Gilgal. You'll carry them with you. You'll put them in your lodging. Maybe they have to carry the stones wherever they go. Only where you sleep that night. That's where they're gonna leave the stones. And it says that these 12 stones were left there. Okay. Tana. So
Excuse me. Is there a tradition about what happened to these stones?
I don't know. Officially, it was left there for all the nations to be able to see what it says in the Torah. So we say because they didn't read it, because they didn't study it, which they were supposed to, so then they get punished.
Did it actually say that the Torah was actually translated on the stones themselves?
That was on yesterday's page. Question if it was on the stone or if it was on the plaster on the stone. Apparently it was more than that. Hillel is asking if it was just the 7 Noahide laws, parts of the Torah that were applicable to the nations. I don't think so. I think it was more than that. Okay. Tana was taught in the Brisa, Tzira loy avrei mayim. It says, I think it's in Parshas Mishpatim, that Hashem says, when you're going to go into the land, I'm going to send the hornet, this bee that's going to go in front of you, will blind the people. Okay. The Brisa says that the Tzira did not go. This bee, this hornet, wasp, did not go in front of them. The Gemara says, V'lai, it didn't go. It says that I will send it. I will send this hornet in front of you. Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Rish Lakish says, "Asvas yardin amda." Rish Lakish answers the question. It didn't go over, but it stood at the edge. It stood at the edge of the Jordan. The Zarka ben Mara, and it spat out or shot out a poison, Mara, venom. The Simtei Neam, it blinded the enemy, Malmaila, from above, that means in their eyes. The Sirastim Malmata, and they became sterile from below. So this was a poisonous wasp. It says, and I will destroy the Amorites from before you, Asher Kagaiva Razim, that are as tall as cedars. Gavai, Asher Kagaiva Razim Gavai, that is tall as cedars, that's their height. The Chasanu Kalainim, and they're as strong as oak. Va'ashmid Piryai, and I will destroy their fruits, Mimal, from above. The Shirashav, and their roots, Mitachas, from below, V'gaimer. And what we're saying is that the Piryai, the fruits from above, is referring to their eyes, and and destroying the roots means that they became sterile. That's the and then
Back up the whole way. Sorry.
okay.
Light rail was late.
Excited to see that. Tell me, it was so boring yesterday. I thought.
Rav Papa says, "Stay tziras havai. Chada the Moshe v'chada Yeshua. The Moshe le'avad Yeshua." Rav Papa, this is a classic of Rav Papa. Rav Papa is very common that he says, "Mara machada v'lei pligi." That Rav Papa often in Shas takes away machlekes. Says this one's saying this one's saying that. They're really not arguing. This one's talking about a different case. This one's talking about it. There's no machlekes. Over here, he does the same thing. He says the way he resolves this contradiction: did the wasp go? Did it not go? That there were two of them. There was one of them did go, one of them didn't. In the days of Moshe, there was a wasp that did not go, and after Yeshua, it did go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, mentioned. I saw it in the Sonsino Tanakh. You know the Sonsino, the yellow, and it still has the jacket on it. It's yellow, blue. So in that Tanakh, the old version was not. They used Christian scholars in there, and then they reprinted it in 1983. It was Judaicized. They took out the Tanakh. Yeah. So in the old version, I saw one. I forget where I saw it, but it said, "What does it mean? This wasp? What is it referring to?" It says it's referring to the Egyptian army, because on their Egyptian army on their shield, it had a wasp on it. So it says, "I'm going to send the Egyptians in front of you to destroy them before you come. We'll make it easier for you." So the comment on this comment was like, "That's very cute, but it's very far-fetched." Something like they didn't accept it, but it was, in that old edition they have people like Smith and Williams and all of those commentaries and whatever.
The comment on that comment was
Alhamdulillah.
that the wasp was like Anglo-Saxon.
Oh, where's Trophy? I was waiting for that.
Okay.
Not politically correct. He used the Chaim because he tolerated.
The two bees at the bar mitzvah, at the yarmulke. So there's two bees and it's flying around that are, why are you wearing a yarmulke? I said, we want to make sure they don't think we're a wasp.
Oh, how about the nanojet? How about the nanobahar? The elevator.
Shisha Shvatim Alu L'Reisha Grizim Chulu. 6 of the tribes went up to Har Grizim, and 6 of the tribes went up to Har Evel, and then the Levium were on the bottom, and they gave the blessings and the curses. Now, in the pasuk it says, in half of them. So the Gemara asks, "My v'hachetzei, v'hachetzei." What does it mean in the half? There's a definite article there, the hey, and the half went to the second half. What does it mean, the half? Like, how is it? How do you? Where do you get this half before that you're talking about it like it's the half the tribes? Amar Rav Kana says no. We've had this division before. The way that it's divided here, it's already divided on the stones of the Kohen Gadol that he wore on his shoulders. There were 2 stones there. On the stones were engraved 6 tribes each. So, yeah, like that. There were 2 stones on the shoulders, and in the stone was 6 tribes and 6 tribes. Now that division, however that was divided, that's the division of how they went to Har Grisim and Har Evel. So when it says in the half, is talking about that division that you already have on the stones. That's what it's referring to. Stay on him. Tell you 1 sec. Okay. Maybe the Gemara has a question. Stay on him. Tell you say Leila Kohen Gadol Seifa. There were 2 precious stones the Kohen Gadol had on his shoulders. Achas mikan, v'achas mikan. One on this side, one on that side. And the names of the 12 tribes are written on them. Shisha 11 zu, 6 on this stone and 6 on this stone. It says in the pasuk, Shisha mishmaisim 11 achas. 6 of the names are on 1 stone. Shniya kitol. Okay. Shniya kitol doisam. Says the second one was according to their birth. Only the second stone had all the names in order. The first stone, the names were out of order. It was divided in half. The first stone did not have it in order. The second one had it in order. Now, Mipnei, why was it not in order? The second stone went like this. God Asher Yisachar Zvulun Yosef Binyamin. It had the tribes that were born later. So of course Binyamin was born last. Yosef was before him. Then was Leah's 5 and 6, which is Yisachar and Zvulun. And then it had God and Asher, which is from Bilhah or something. So but the first stone was not in order because the first one is supposed to be Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Dan Naphtali. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Dan Naphtali. But Yehuda was taken out from the middle and put at the top. So it says Yehuda, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Dan Naphtali. That's why it says it wasn't in order. Yehuda Mukdam, because Yehuda went first. And it's 50 letters. 25 on each one. I counted it. It's actually 25 on the first one and 24 on the second one. The Gemara is going to ask, you said there's 25, 24, we'll see soon. So Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel Aimer, basically what we're doing here is we're showing that the tribes were not divided according to the way it was divided on the Ephod, which was different than the way Rav Kana taught. Rav Hanina ben Gamliel Aimer, Loi not the way that it's arranged in Chumash HaPikudim, which is the book of Bamidbar, the Numbers. It's called the book of counting. Is it divided? Rather, it's divided. That's not how it was divided by the Avnei Ephod, by the stones. Only as it was in the second book. I don't know why it doesn't say Exodus, but we know that it's referring to Exodus. But so how did it go? Kate said, B'nai Leah Kisidron, which is the way it says in Shmais is Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun. It doesn't go in the way that they were born, because first was done in Naphtali, and then Yisachar, Zvulun was born. That's not how it was on the stones, according to Hanania ben Gamliel. Rabbi Hanania, right? What's his name? Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel. He says that it went Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zvulun. That was on one. The second one went B'nai Leah, Echad Mikan, V'Echad Mikan. Then it went Binyamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, and Yosef. B'nai Shvachas B'emta. And with the children of Bilhah and Zilpah were in the center. According to this, so why are you telling me that it's according to their birth? It says what it means according to the birth means the names that their father gave them at birth. And it wasn't written on the stone the way Moshe called them, because Moshe adjusted the name a little bit. It says Ruvain v'lei Ruveni, Shimon v'lei Shimoni, because when they get counted and they get mentioned later on in Parshas Bamidbar, it says Livnei Ruveni. It adds a yud at the end and a hey at the front actually. Shimon v'lei Shimoni, Dan v'lei Hadani, Gad v'lei Agadi. Okay, whatever the case is, what happened over here is that we have a kasha on Rav Kana. The Gemara says Tifta de Rav Kana. There's a kasha on Rav Kana because on Har Grizim was Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, and Yosef, and Binyamin, and Har Evel was Reuven, Gad, Asher, Zvul, and Dan Naphtali, which is not in any of the orders that we just mentioned. So that's a question. The Gemara says you're right. That's a big question. Now, if that's a question, why did we have to say that in the first place? Because it says in the half. So we tried to say what the half was. Why is it a definitive half? Like we know them from somewhere else. Turns out we don't know them from somewhere else. Well, Gemara goes back to its question. What do you mean the half? What we mean to say is that this the second half was much larger than the first half. Because the tribe of Levi was below, and it was, I guess what it means right here is that it was counting Levi even though they weren't on the mountain. Well, the Gemara says, Adarabba. If they're not on the mountain, then that means that there's less, not that there's more. But this is what it means. Even though Levi was there, it's nevertheless. But because Bnei Yosef Iman, because the tribe of Yosef was there, we have a verse later on in Yeshua where the children of Yosef come to Yeshua and they say that we don't have enough land, which means that they had a very large tribe. Why do you give me such a small portion, such a big, so many people? Yeshua tells them, Imam Rabat, go up to the forest and conquer some more towns. Okay. Well, Amar Lahan, what he tells them is, when he says go to the forest, means if you're so big, you should hide in the forest. Why? So that you shouldn't have an ayin hara, because a large amount of people, years ago families wouldn't take pictures together.
Oh, really?
It was ayin hara. They wouldn't have the full family picture.
Who gets left out?
I don't know. No, it was because evil eye. People would look and say, "Wow, what a beautiful family
you've got."
How come they have that?" And that would cause like a jealousy.
It's called the Iron Heart Lady.
But that only works if you believe in it.
Right. If you don't believe in it, it's fine.
All the European pictures of families have no family except for Nebuchadnezzar. It had nothing to do with the Jews.
So it wasn't like everyone, but there was a concept where you never hear a concept like this nowadays. I know. Yeah, that the whole family shouldn't take the picture together. It looks too, it looks too good. We don't want it to.
I know of parents that won't fly to get on the same plane somewhere.
Yeah, that may not be ayin hara.
Yeah, that's just.
You don't trust the kids.
Sorry. Oh, because he can never get everyone smiling. That's
Whoa.
Yeah. So, or maybe what they would do is because they couldn't get everyone together, they would just say, "Oh, it's better like this. It's not. Well, it won't be an ayin hara." So, Amrulay, they said to him, "Zari de Yosef le'shalta be'ein abisha." We're not worried ayin hara. We're from the descendants of Yosef. We don't have ayin hara. Ksiv ben Paris Yosef ben Paris ali ayin. How do they translate Paris? Fruitful.
Charming.
Fruitful Yosef. Yeah,
Charming.
the son of the fruitful that goes on the spring. Right. It says V'amar Rabavo. I'll take a kele ayin. Alei ayin ela oile ayin that go above the eye. Means they're not affected by ayin hara. Anyone have a comment why they're not affected by ayin hara? What was it? I mean, the Gemara is going to explain, but because they didn't believe in it.
It
So
gives,
the Joseph's eyes
it gives
rush.
a reference, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say, oh, the
Says,
evil eye
"V'lo
has no
yisad
power.
alei
over
shur."
it. Wait, let me see.
Yeah, the Gemara is going to tell us.
Yeah, but
I'm saying,
Joseph's eyes did not.
because he didn't look.
Yeah.
So eyes and.
How do you find
Rachel
five?
had that problem.
Oh, that's okay. That's very good.
Oh, we got very good
Because
from Rabbi Smith.
Rachel, this goes back because Rachel wasn't jealous, and she let Leah go first to marry. She gave her the signs, so that's why the ayin hara goes up from Yosef. The ayin hara is like, how come she has that? I should have that. She did not have that
It
attribute.
says that he stood in front of his mother.
Oh, the block.
Face of
right.
Shamsi.
Okay, the Gemara is gonna say, but just like the character, where does that from? Amar Rabavo, okay. Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina Amar Mehacha. Rabbi Yosef bar Chanina has another source. It says V'yidgul l'rayv b'karav haaretz, that they'll be fruitful, they'll multiply in the land. Ma dagim shebayam. It says the word for it to be multiplied is v'yidgul. It sounds like the word fish. Ma dagim shebayam mayim chasim alayim bein ayin sheletzes. Just like the fish you can't see. Avzar shel Yosef ein ayin sheletzes bem. Also the children of Yosef, the eye doesn't control. They don't have ayin hara. Because of, well, that's a source for that. Right? The Yidgul Arayv, Keravar, it's in the blessing of Hamalach HaGoyel, right? So in the blessing to Yosef's children is that they don't have, I'm going to say it's the blessing that caused it. I'm not sure if it's the blessing that caused it or if that's a source that's how they are.
It also mentions that Joseph, they had to marry it because Joseph didn't take pleasure in looking at what he first.
Oh, so that's we're going to see soon.
So they don't
Okay.
buy chamsaks, Joseph's sons? No red strings? None of that stuff?
Yeah, interesting. Okay. The Gemara asks the question we mentioned before. There's really only 20 on one side, the second side of the ephod only had 24 letters. It didn't have 25 letters. Why are you telling me there's 50, 25 and 25? There's really only 25 and 24. Rabbi Yitzchak says, Yosef Yosef has an extra letter. Shnemar Edus Yosef Samai Tzeisei Aleres Mitzrayim. When it says over there that a testimony of Yosef, it says Edus Yosef. They added a hey into the word Yosef, so it's Yosef. When he went over to the land of Egypt, Maskevler Rav Nachman by Yitzchak Ketaldaisam Binan. You told me before that you wrote it the way that it was when they were born, and you didn't change it the way Moshe added a yud. Now you're adding it the hey, the way that it came later. Binyamin. Rather, in the whole Torah it says Binyamin without a yud. Beis nun yud mem nun. Binyamin shalom. Over here, when he was born, it says Binyamin with an extra yud. Binyamin, it says his father called him Binyamin, which means that if you add in that extra yud, then you'll have 25 letters, which will make 50. Amar Rav Chana bar Bizna, Amar Rav Shimon Chasida. Yosef shekid Shem Shemayim b'seiser. Yosef that sanctified God's name in private. He gets one of the names, one of the letters of God's name. Yehuda Shekida Shem Shemayim B'Far Hesya. Yehuda that sanctified God's name in public. Nikra Kula El Shmei Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. His whole name is the name of Hashem, because the word Yehuda is basically the name of Hashem plus a Dalet. So Yosef Mahi. What's the story with Yosef that he sanctified God's name in private? It says in the pasuk. Was on this day. He went to the house to do his work. And Rabbi Yochanan says that the wife of Potiphar was home. Why did she stay home? She's hoping to have relations with Yosef. Why did Yosef go home? He's hoping to have relations with her. He said he went to do his work. So what does it mean? What does it mean to do his work? Rabbi Shmuel, it's actually machlekes. One says that he had actual work to do. And the other one says, he went to have relations to satisfy his needs. There was no people in the house. Here, Potiphar is called the Russia. Surprising. Could it be that a house like this, such a big house of that wicked person, there was no one in it? I'm sorry. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel teaches that Oisa Hayom, that day Yom Chagam Haya was a holiday. Everyone went to the church. And she said to them, that she's sick. Amra, she said, this is the best day, that there's the opportunity that she'll be able to be together with Yosef. But to say a big day, she grabbed this garment, Laymar. She said, lay with me. At that moment, the image of his father came and he saw it in the window. Amalai. So his father said to him, Yosef, your brothers are going to all be written on the stones of the ephod. And you're amongst them. You want your name to be erased, and they're going to say that you're someone that Raya, that cast. What is the word that he is? Associate. Okay, that's
Pretty good.
that associates with promiscuous women. It says someone that associates with promiscuous women loses a fortune. That's right here. The Gemara.
Oh, it's the Gemara.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you want to know if it's earlier than the Gemara? It's quoted here from a Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, which means that it's a brisa. Yeah. Yeah, I need to see more about that. What is it referring to? Oh, it's saying that Vayavai Habaisa, that he entered the house, means cohabitation.
Bia.
Okay, and that they say from Taisvis. From the top Taisvis. That's what they're saying. Very nice. Okay.
Is Roa the same way written as a shepherd?
That's a shepherd, yeah.
So Yosef was originally a shepherd.
Well, here they're saying,
So
they're quoting the verse that is a right, Raya Zainus. Miyad, immediately Vateshav Be'esan Kashtai, that his strength of his bow settled. Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Reb Meir Sheshava Kashti Leisane, that his male organ, I guess, relaxed. Over here it says it returned to its strength. But Yafayzus Raya Yadav, and it spread out his arms. Not Yadav Bekarka. What this means is that he put his hands into the ground. Yatsa Shich Baser and Beit Ziparna Yadav, and the semen went out through his fingernails.
Whoa.
Now, that's probably figurative, and yeah, don't,
Family share also.
that's how
Remember,
he,
family share, we have
it's meant
ratings.
to relax. If he's if someone is the Gemara uses this, if someone is having relations and his wife tells him that she's a nida, so the way that he relaxes, because he's not allowed to go in or out, she's a nida, is he puts his fingernails in the ground. That's his I guess like a what's it called, the push-up on his fingernails. So that would the pain of that would cause him to relax. Okay, well,
Why did Yaakov use that? Why wasn't the message of sexual affair instead of not getting his name
yeah. Apparently that doesn't work.
Social pressure.
Just to say it's not allowed doesn't always work, you know. There's a law that
Sibling rivalry works.
there's a law that, you know, it says in Shulchan Aruch. Yeah, Yaakov could have told him. It says in Shulchan Aruch. He wanted to give him something that was more
Sibling rivalry.
right.
Sweet spot. Brothers.
Okay. So Pshat in from Reuben Margolius. He wrote his comments on the Sefer Hasidim. So over there it says what happened over here. Over here from this Gemara, it looks like that his passion was so strong that the semen came out, and
Family share is removed. Ratings, trying to PG.
so over there he says different. There he says that whenever someone is shown a level of kedusha that's way above where he's holding, says he becomes tamei. How does he become tamei? Well, he has an emission. Someone is like it's too above him. That's why the miracle of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur never became tamei, is that even though he went into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is way beyond anyone's level, he still did not become tamei.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so then Reuben Margolius explains this Gemara. The reason why semen came out was because he saw the image of Yaakov, not because of his passion. He
Right.
saw the holiness of his father, which was way beyond his level. That's why, anyway.
Do you ever hear
It's a
that
different
because
shot.
Yaakov and Adam have the same face?
The Gemara says that.
And what one sin can do to the whole world?
Okay, Midei Avir Yaakov, from the strength of Yaakov, Mi garam le'sheyachakek al avnei ephod al avir Yaakov. Who caused that Yosef should be engraved into the stones of the ephod? That's the Abir Yaakov, the strength of Yaakov, because we saw his father's face. Misham Raya Even Yisrael. From there, how does it translate that? Raya Even Yisrael.
Shepherd this one.
Shepherds the stone of Israel. Misham Zachav and Asaraya. And there he merited to become a shepherd. Shnema Raya Yisrael Hazina Naik Tzin Yosef. That shepherd of Israel, listen, he that leads the flock of Yosef. Tanya. Son and Abraisa, Yosef, Latzis Mena Yud Beishvatim Kederch Shiatzim Yaakov Avinu. Yosef should have had 12 tribes as well, just like Yaakov had 12 tribes. Shnemer Eila told us Yaakov Yosef, because there's a comparison between Yaakov and Yosef. It says these are the children of Yaakov, Yosef. And that comparison would mean that there should be another 12 sons. There's really only 2. Ella Yatsu Shechva Zarim Ben Tzipani Yadav, but he lost it because of the semen that came out of him. But Binyamin, his brother, had those extra 10. Describing this like as if there were 10 drops. The Kula Nikral Shemai, and all of them are called on the name of Yosef. It says Shnemar, Bnei Binyamin, Bela, Becher, Vashbel, etc. All the Gemara is going to describe what each one is referring to.
That's why he named his kids after you.
After Bela, why is it the first one called Bela? Or the first one listed here. Shenivla ben Umas, because he was swallowed up by the nations, because Yosef was taken into captivity. Ubecher, because he was the firstborn. Ashbel, why is it called Ashbel? Sheshavu Kel, because he was captured by, I guess, by God, or God caused him to be captive. Geira Shagar Bach Sanais, that he was a stranger. He had to dwell, sojourn in as a guest. Naaman Shanam B'Yaiser, he's called Naaman because he was very beautiful. Achi V'Reish, my brother is a brother and a head. Achi V'Reishu is my brother and he's my head. Mupim B'Chupim, what does it mean that he's Mupim and Chupim? Ulay Ra B'Chupasi Vanila Ra B'Chupasi. I didn't see his wedding canopy and he didn't see my wedding canopy.
How do you know there's Gera and Naaman? Not in bold.
All of those are in the verse when it said the children of Binyamin are Bela, Becher, Ashbel, etc. In that etc. it had Gera and it had Gera and Naaman and Achi and Reish and Mupim and Chupim and then Ard. These are the children of Binyamin that are named after Yosef.
Binyamin's wife very accommodating in the name.
Yeah.
Nobody on her side.
Right. Right. Well, it could be there's a machlekes if they married their half sisters, so it could be she was okay with that. Or if it was Canaanite, it could be like that story that they had one name, and Canaanite meant this and meant that. We said we'll see how he grows up. So that he went down to the nations of the world. Those who say Va'ard Shapanav Daimon Levered. Va'ard is referring to the Hebrew word for a rose, which is a vered. That's the woman's name, it's a Varda, right? That's a woman's name. But there's a male version of that is Va'ard, according to this. Without you, no man will lift his hand. So the astrologers of Pari said, this is just a slave that was bought for 20 coins. You're going to put him to be in charge of us. I see colors of royalty in him. Sounds like purple. If that's the case, if he's royalty. So let's hear what the tutors taught him as a kid. Or the children in the palace, they learn all the languages. But so Gabriel comes and teaches him 70 languages. But he wasn't able to learn it. You can only learn this when you're young. So he adds a name, a letter into his name, and he was able to learn it. His name is now Yehoshef. When he goes out over the land of Egypt, he wasn't able to learn a language. That the pasuk continues. The following day, every language that Pari was talking to him, he spoke back. He answered. So then Yosef starts to talk to Pari in Hebrew. Pari doesn't know what he's talking about. Amalei, Agmuri, teach me this other language. Agamri v'legamar, he wasn't able to learn it. Pari also wasn't able to learn. He was also apparently a little old. He can't learn languages when you're older. Amalei, he says to him, Ishtabalid le'magalesa. Swear to me that you're not going to tell anyone that I don't know this language. Ishtabalid, swears to him. So later on when he says, I want to go bury my father made me swear. Don't worry, go to the rabbi to take off the oath. And you don't have to bury your father, you'll just leave him here, leave him in Egypt. Oh, you want me to start taking off oaths? I'll take off the oath that I swore to you as well. Even though Pari didn't want, go and bury your father as you swore. Okay, let's leave it over here.
More?
To be continued.
What?
Have a good day.